He's here. Welcome to a universe. Relle.
Welcome back to Relle from the Pod. I am so happy you are here again. In the last episode, I told you about my very first product, the Sweetheart bag, and why it's so much more than just a bag. Today, I'm taking you a step further behind the scenes. We are going to talk about why I'm turning my life in Germany upside down after so many years and why my path is leading me to the US. I genuinely believe this. When you really arrive within yourself, when you clearly know who you are and what you want, everything around you starts to change. Not because some kind of overnight magic happens, but because you start making different decisions. You say yes differently. You dare to say no. And you start noticing and taking chances you used to walk right past. To me, it feels like life starts reflecting back to you. Okay, I see who you are. Here are the people, opportunities, and places that match that. The dream of the US didn't just pop up out of nowhere. I've been deeply immersed in it for over 2 years now. Thinking about emigrating, living and working in the US, visas, and building a business there. And to be honest, there were a lot of setbacks, paths that didn't work out, options that suddenly closed again, moments where I thought maybe it's just not meant to be. But giving up is not my way. When I have a dream, I stay with it, whether it takes 6 months or 10 years. I know I will do everything I can to make what I've set my mind to become reality. And yet for a long time, a lot of things just didn't feel truly right. The dream was there, the idea was there, but the way forward was still blurry. It felt like one important puzzle piece was missing. And then one day, while scrolling on Instagram, I came across 2 women, Monique and Roberta from Neustadt, USA. 2 women who have already walked exactly this path, who know what it means to start over, to build a business in the US, to bring your whole family with you, to switch systems. I listened to them and realized these are people who understand my pace, who understand how I think, and who don't say, don't you think that's a bit too big? But instead, of course it's possible. Let's figure out how. Since working with them, so many doors have opened. Not because they are magicians, but because they help me see clearly how much is possible when I trust myself and have a plan. Since I started truly moving toward my dream, not just in my head, but in actual decisions, something interesting has happened. More and more women are coming into my life. Women who have big plans of their own, women who are working moms, women who say, I want more, and that's okay. And it fits so perfectly that my brand, my online shop, my podcast, and my coaching offers are all created exactly for these women. It feels like a cycle. I walk my path, other women see it, we inspire each other. Suddenly, I'm no longer the only one who thinks this way. I am part of a network of women who know more is possible. Still, a step like this takes courage, real courage. Of course, there are doubts, especially when you have kids. Is this really the right path for my family? How will this be for my children? What if it doesn't work out the way we planned? And then there are the voices from the outside. Do you really want to move to the US? Are you sure you want to give up your secure life? At your age, people don't usually do that. Think of the kids. Those voices are rarely meant in a hurtful way, but they plant doubt. They put little sentences inside you like, maybe you are overdoing it. Maybe you are wanting too much. And this is where one sentence becomes really important to me. One that has been with me for a long time. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Fear shows up on its own. Courage is something you choose. It's incredibly hard to hold on to your dream when almost no one sees it the way you do. And that's exactly why people with a different mindset, like Monique and Roberta, are so valuable. To really take the step, I did something that often looks radical from the outside. I started letting go of my other businesses. I ended my salaried positions, not because they were bad, but because I believe so deeply in Relle and in this new path that I no longer want to spread my energy across 5 construction sites at once. It's a system shift away from I somehow keep everything running at the same time toward I put my energy into the life that truly feels like mine. And from that point on, it felt like life, or call it the universe, started to rearrange itself a little in my favor. Not without challenges, but with a clarity that hadn't been there before. For this path to even be possible, it needs a container. For me, that's Relle LLC in the US. I'm taking the route of an investor visa. Very simple put, I'm building a real business in the US. I'm investing money, time, and energy. I am creating value, perspective, and jobs. On that basis, you can get a visa that allows you to live and to work in the US. This is not a spontaneous, I'm just moving abroad on a whim moment. It's a conscious business and life decision. Sometimes in life, you have to fight, and sometimes you have to let go. But the hardest part is recognizing the right moment. It's about feeling into when is it time to move on. Because sometimes the right moment feels wrong because it hurts, because it means saying goodbye, because it leaves questions open. But deep down inside, we know it's time. And that's exactly what I felt over these last months, that my path is moving on. Berlin has shaped me deeply. I had planned to stay in Berlin for 1 year, and in the end, it became 14. 14 years full of memories, of first times, of butterflies, laughter, tears, and magical moments. And Berlin wasn't just my home. It was my mirror, my springboard, my safe harbor. This is where I learned to love myself, to trust myself. I fell in love with the city and I fell in love with myself. But in these last months, I felt that we are changing. It's a sign that we have both grown, just in different directions. Now it's time for the biggest step I have taken so far. Not because Berlin isn't enough for me anymore, but because here I got to see how much is inside of me and how loudly my heart can beat for ideas, for people, for possibilities. And now it's beating loudly again, not just for what has been, but even more for what's still to come. New paths, new dreams, new chapters. And for me, moving to the US doesn't mean I'm running away from Germany. It means much more. I'm moving toward the life I want for myself and for my children. A life where I am a working mother, an entrepreneur with a US based company, and a woman who allows herself to dream big without shrinking herself for it. So Relle LLC is so much more to me than just a tax ID in the US. It's the official foundation of my new freedom. With Relle, I am building a business that's Miami based, that collaborates with boutiques in Miami, the Tampa Bay area, and St. Petersburg, and at the same time reaches women all over the world through the online shop, the podcast, and the rebirth offerings. If you are listening to this and somewhere inside you feel, I also have a dream that still feels a bit too big, then this is what I want you to hear today. You don't have to know everything yet. You don't have to feel ready. It's enough if you are honest about what you feel, about what you truly want, and about what no longer fits you. If you have the sense that your heart beats louder for what could still come than for what's already been, then maybe this is your sign. In one of the upcoming episodes, I will share more about the concrete steps I have taken and the tips I would give you if you feel like a new chapter is waiting for you too. Thank you for listening today, and thank you for walking my path with me from Berlin to the US. And don't forget, fear is a reaction, courage is a decision. You are allowed to choose your life.